welcome back to What We Pod in the Shadows. We'll be discussing more of the sixth and final season of What We Do in the Shadows today. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
Today we will be talking about the fifth episode of the season, Nandor's Army. We're just doing the one episode because there was just one episode this week, and a lot happens in that episode.
Also, just want to be clear that we will be spoiling the details of the episode.
Yes, spoilers abound.
This is a new season, but we will be spoiling stuff. You want me to start or what?
Yeah, you can go first if you'd like.
Nandor has been gone for weeks since he was fired by Guillermo, and his vampire roommates half-heartedly look for him. Nadja makes missing posters, only offering a $5 reward, and then the Baron calls and says he knows where Nandor is.
So everyone, even though they are doing the piddliest effort to look for Nandor, is super pissed at Guillermo. The Baron tells them he knows where Nandor is, and while they're there, he treats them to a feast of differently prepared bloods and fingers. Colin Robinson is an energy vampire, does not eat blood, and asks for at least some crescent rolls. The Baron has him listen to a recorded radio podcast of Nandor pretty much spouting conspiracy theories, and the Baron is worried he's calling attention to himself and other vampires.
Okay, so he calls he's talking about ghouls on Wall Street, so we know it has something to do with that. And then the food that was served, the sire had prepared it, and it was literally finger food.
Yes. I thought that was a nice touch that it was actually finger food.
So Nandor has went to New Hampshire. They all take a road trip with Guillermo at the wheel. And so this is when the theme song comes on, and it's a cover of the normal theme song.
Yeah, it's actually the cover was sung by Laszlo himself, Matt Berry.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize.
Thought it was him, but I looked it up to be sure.
So Nandor is at the former Hancock and Sons factory, which in a previous episode, Cannon Capital was celebrating purchasing. And when they get there, only Nandor the Relentless can be found. He will only talk to them without Guillermo present, and he had wanted to be among those who had also been discarded by Cannon Capital.
He invites the other three vampires to a strategy meeting, but the meeting is only filled up with the mannequins at the factory. Guillermo and Co say that Nandor has gone cuckoo, and Laszlo decides that the only way to break him out of his fantasy is by playing into it and to trying to break holes into it as they go. And then, Guillermo pretty much, he just stays in the car during most of this. The vampires say that they wish to enlist in Nandor's army, and they do a wacky training montage to Creedence Clearwater Revival's Fortune Son, which is later revealed to be playing for Nandor's Alexa. They crawl under ropes, whack the shit out of mannequins, and Nandor attempts to give Laszlo a buzz cut.
Okay, so yeah, they think at first because there's like a table where they've got maps and everything, and it's just surrounded by mannequins, and then there's mannequins standing around, and so they think one of the reasons they think he's cuckoo is because they think his army really is just mannequins.
Yeah.
It's his war council. And Guillermo does come back, and he hears parts of it, and he asks Nandor if he's okay, because no one else really inquires, and, he's just told to leave. Okay, so after going through all this training, Colin really gets into it, and then Nandor assigns them to different important parts in his army. Laszlo is assigned intelligence. I'm not sure why. Nadja to Signal Corps, and she's like, I don't even know what that is, and I don't care. And Colin wanted this one to logistics.
So excited about logistics. The way he acted this episode, I think he'd be very easily tricked into getting into a cult.
So Nandor kind of starts monologuing, and they all sneak away. Laszlo and Nadja sneak off for supplies, of which Laszlo doesn't explain. And Colin says he's going to stay because he doesn't want to be labeled a deserter. When they get back to Nandor, he has called into a radio show, and he's kind of telling, I think, his plans to conquer.
Yeah.
But then the person is like, but what song did you want to request? So he requests a Simon and Garfunkel song.
Yeah, they killed me. He wasn't silent. Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Colin walks in on Nandor doing this, and he tells him to limit the radio broadcasting. Laszlo and Nadja are excited to have some alone time, but Nadja gets fed up with Laszlo, and he says she'll have to wait and see about his plan. She says he's always saying that, and Laszlo pretty much accidentally insults her intelligence by saying that, she wouldn't get what Nicole and Robinson are up to with the creature. And Guillermo decides to come back in to talk to Nandor. Kind of also insults Nandor a little bit, and so he's not very receptive. And then he tells him to leave by playing Leave, Get Out by JoJo on his Alexa, and he makes him stay until the chorus where she says the Leave, Get Out part.
Laszlo says he is in the dark about what she does at Cannon Capital, and then Nadja screams him into a car. Like, he's got these powerful screams. She screams him into a car when he suggests it is her time of the month. Back to Nandor and Guillermo. Nandor says he was humiliated. He never got rid of Guillermo, even when he made huge mistakes, like almost killing the Baron twice, but Guillermo got rid of him. Nandor says he never betrayed his friends when he was alive. Guillermo said he didn't realize the janitor job meant so much to him. Nandor said his purpose was to make Guillermo a great vampire, but Jordan has become his new master. Guillermo denies this, but interrupts their conversation to take what sounds like a frivolous conversation with Jordan, proving Nandor right. So I do feel like, and I think you had said it before, that Guillermo kind of has taken a similar role on at Cannon Capital, where like he's just doing all the real work,
Yeah.
and then they kind of treat him like shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then he's just dropping everything for Jordan. It's kind of like The Devil Wears Prada, where it's like, even, important plans you had with family, you just sort of drop because, oh no, the boss called.
Yeah, he's completely of Jordan's blood at this point. Laszlo says that he didn't tell Nadja about his plan, which involves fireworks, because he wants to swoop in and save the day, but Nadja says he doesn't have to. Laszlo says she's the funniest, sweetest, and most beautiful woman in the world, and they kiss and make up. Nadja spots a fireworks store, and they break in with a combination of Nadja's super scary voice thing and Laszlo throwing those blue newspaper boxes at the window. Guillermo and Nandor make up by realizing that each other is now on different paths from the other when Nadja and Laszlo come in saying that they've completed Nandor's plan. Nandor says it's no longer necessary because he's coming home now, but then the fireworks go off and Nandor's ready to fight again. They bind him in silver chains and chuck him in the trunk of the car.
As they're trying to drive home, cops pull them over for a taillight out, and Laszlo offers to screw the officer, and then so he orders them out of the car. So, like, if they just had let Guillermo talk.
Yes. Yeah, like him and Nadja both tried to seduce this man.
Yeah, they might have, probably at best got off with a warning or maybe a ticket, but now they're looking at being arrested. But as soon as they get out, Nadja is, I don't know if there was more than one officer, but she's hypnotizing them, and then Nandor's troops ride up on horses and four-wheelers. So there were actual live humans in his army. They unchain him and he announces he is leaving. He tries to give them direction like finding new jobs, and they run off to attack the nerds of Dartmouth, who most of which work on Wall Street. So they didn't really like the advice that he gave them, so he suggested that they attack Dartmouth because a lot of the graduates work on Wall Street, and I think Nandor may forever hate like finance bro types.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people there were implied to have also like worked at and been fired by Cannon Capital.
I think they were the former factory workers.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I didn't really realize it till the second time we watched it. So once Cannon bought it, they just wanted the real estate again, I guess. I'm not sure I understand. Or maybe the company goes under, they get a tax break or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we went bankrupt. Yeah.
I'm not sure about works, but yeah.
I don't totally understand what they're doing either. Colin tries to go with them, but Nandor lassos him with the silver chain. And that's the end of the episode. So I'm assuming, I mean, I get that Laszlo and Naja made up, but they still kind of like they didn't really fix that situation. Like she just wants to know more about like what their plans are with the Frankenstein monster, and he doesn't quite understand why she wants a job at this stupid finance place. So maybe there will be some crossovers there where she's either maybe helping make the monster or train monsters, and then maybe Laszlo will make an appearance because I guess Colin hasn't been at Canon Capital, but maybe them two will show up there. I feel like Nandor is one of my favorite characters, so I do like to see him and Guillermo friends again.
Yes.
And it was fun to see Colin really get into being in an army because it's sort of surprising because like he was just really doing the push-ups and everything, and he was like beating the crap out of the mannequins and stuff. So it just didn't seem like his normal, because you know he usually just has like an office job and then he's just super boring. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize he would take to being in the army.
Yeah, like I said, he'd be super easy to trick into getting into a cult. He seems like he likes to be supervised or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's part of it. Like to have almost like a mission and stuff to
Yeah.
do.
He craves structure or whatever.
Yeah, he probably liked when his parents gave him rules and told him he couldn't stay out past 9 o'clock and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like, fuck 9 o'clock, I'm gonna be at home in bed.
Yeah. So I think the next episode we're seeing not, is it Laszlo's father or something? I'm not
Yes.
sure that is that the title.
Yeah, this for sure this time is Lasso's father. I accidentally said last time, but that's the next episode.
So I'm not totally sure what to think of that because they've been alive for a really long time. This guy's obviously, I think he's supposed to be a ghost.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'm not sure how he ends up there. Like, does he? Him and Naja are married, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, like, you know, has he ever met her? Does he know he's a vampire? What's he going to think of him being a vampire? I think before I said I thought he was going to just kind of be one of those parents that, like, is just disappointed in everything and shit on his life, maybe, because it is sort of a weird setup with, like, all the roommates and everything.
Yeah. I do. Maybe parents did meet Naja. I swear I remember in an earlier season them saying, Lasso saying something about them being like assholes about them being together.
Okay. Are they supposed to be like from the same? Because it always says she speaks Greek.
I think he's just supposed to be British and then she's from Greece.
Okay. And then I'm not sure like what Nandor will be up to then. Because he doesn't have a thing now. He doesn't have a janitor job or the leader of an he's not the leader of an army. And they won't even give him a spot to exercise really.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll find a new purpose. I don't know if that'll be so quickly though. Maybe I kind of lost my train of thought. And yeah, I'm just, Guillermo's still at that canon capital, but I want to see something better for him.
Yes.
I don't necessarily want them to like kill everyone at Canon for him to be like the lead person, but I feel like the company is just like destroying other companies.
Absolutely.
So I hope he kind of finds something
constructive,
more, yeah, that's like actually fulfilling.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he has like drank the Kool-Aid there. I think at one point he was kind of like trying to explain why what they were doing was good. And it's like, no.
No. Guillermo, unfortunately, also would be really easy to trick into getting into a cult.
Yeah, they don't even have to be hypnotized in their sleep. So, yeah.
I want better for him because I feel like he just gets shit on the whole show. pretty much. And we've seen very little of him like kicking ass this season, even because he's just doing finance bro stuff now.
It's kind of, he talked about it that he'd always wanted to be a vampire, and I just kind of feel like maybe he needs to go back to that, or at least like being their familiar, but like he's, negotiates better treatment or whatever.
Maybe.
Or maybe they come up with like a business that has to do with vampires or something.
Yeah, we need to find him something more fulfilling to do. Like, they sort of have that market thing with all the people who are like monsters and mythological creatures, kind of like in the second Hellboy. So I'm just like, maybe he could like work there or something. I don't know. I don't know how great of a gig that is.
I guess I don't remember that market. I'm so bad with details, and sometimes I like fall asleep. So maybe I just completely missed it. But yeah, because he is like, I know he's kind of almost wants to wash his hands of the vampires, and they have treated him bad, but I feel like he is a helper. Because even like what he's doing at Cannon Capital, he's like the gopher, he's basically Jordan's assistant, and like, so like something where he's helping in some way. But I do think I hate that he's had to throw away the whole I want to be a vampire dream. So there's maybe something.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's not going to be that many episodes, so I just don't know. I'm not sure how they're planning to wrap things up, but
yeah, we only have like 6 more episodes, so I'm not totally sure either.
and I mean, this episode, like they go through all this stuff just to, I think if him and Guillermo could have just talked, they probably could have came to this realization, but obviously he ran off.
Miscommunication is a big trope in comedies.
And they didn't know where he went for a while. But like I'm like, why do we have to go all the way to New Hampshire?
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe it was just kind of like vampires in the car.
Yeah.
Like that would be funny. We haven't done a road trip. And they did continue that other song. It was the same cover, right? At the end.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a fun thing that they did, kind of like for the road trip, because they're not just at the house.
I do think my favorite part of the episode was when Nanja did do the screamy thing and make Lasso fall into the car, because I liked that then she yelled, "The dead do not menstruate."
Yeah. I did like Nandor calling into the radio show and then like basically telling his whole like maybe some of his conspiracy theories, and they're like, "But sir, we just need you to tell us what song you're requesting."
Just wanted to listen to some Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's, like the Baron, that's how they found him, is that, or I'm wondering if that is if he just kept calling into like talk radio or like requests because he wanted someone to listen to him. I mean, he did have a real army, but I kind of take it maybe he was like in there by himself a lot just with the mannequins.
Yeah, almost like if he wants people to listen to him so bad, maybe he needs to become an influencer on the social media.
Yeah, that could be fun. I mean, that is something that maybe they could explore on the show because, like, I don't even know if they have cell phones, but
Yeah.
I could see one of them really getting into that.
Yes.
Getting likes and all that stuff. But then, I don't know. I'm thinking the Baron, if you didn't like him on the radio, that the influencer thing, they would have to play it off like he's just pretending to be a vampire.
Yeah, like he's just doing a bit and he's really into it.
Yeah.
I'm also almost like maybe I should make a playlist of all the songs I reference in this season.
Yeah, that might be something good to start because when we go back to season 1, there might be more that we didn't realize. You could just keep adding to it.
Start off with "We Didn't Start the Fire," and then I'm pretty sure the Simon and Garfunkel song they said was "Scarborough Fair."
Yeah, it was. I just forgot to write it down. Or I sometimes it's like I can only remember so many details while I'm writing, and then it's like gone from my mind. But I guess I'm pointing this out also. Like, so Guillermo was so upset, not Guillermo, Nandor was so upset about being fired that he tried to raise an army. And I think this was said at the beginning, to go house to house or town to town until they made it to the front steps of Cannon Capital. So he was going to like lay waste to everything in his way to Cannon Capital because he got fired from being a janitor, which he wasn't even good at.
Yes. I guess he still has the urge to raise hell and conquer shit from when he was alive.
I guess so. They should put him in charge of, this whole taking over the world, the new world thing. Like him and what is it, Jerry?
Yes, Jerry.
Maybe him and Jerry should, maybe that will be his new thing because they were going to.
Yeah.
Have they named who Laszlo's dad is? Or we just keep that? I mean, if you don't know, let's not look it up. We'll keep it a surprise.
Yeah, I don't think it said in the episode description, but I could be wrong. I didn't see it. I am kind of curious to see who they are going to get to play his dad, though.
They've had some good guests on there.
Yeah. Another show he was on that I watched a lot of, the IT Crowd. He was basically like the Nepo baby of this dude, of the CEO dude. So maybe they'll hire that guy to be his dad again.
Oh.
I don't know.
He's British, so of course someone can just put an accent on, but maybe a British actor.
We'll get Patrick Stewart to be his father.
I don't know. At one point, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but when they're discussing Nandor being crazy, he's just like in the background shirtless. Didn't he just like punch out a mirror?
He may have. I was just like, okay, he's running around shirtless with a bunch of mannequins. I guess I wasn't paying attention to the background gag for once. He's gonna do Fight Club, but for vampires.
Yeah, I guess I can't really think of anything else to speculate about.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this show, I never would have thought that this episode was going to happen. So it's like, the two things that have been through all the episodes, basically, I mean, once we get through even with the Jerry one, we brought up the Frankenstein. And then I'm not sure if that's when Guillermo started working at Cannon Capital, but I mean, those have been through most of the episodes. So maybe those two things will collide. Maybe the monster will start working at Cannon Capital.
The monster is going to kill Jordan and become the new CEO.
Yeah.
If Jordan even is the CEO, I don't know. He's just Guillermo's boss. I'm not sure actually if he's just Guillermo's boss or if he's the CEO.
He's the head of that. What is it? The LBO group, which I don't know what LBO stands for, so.
I don't know either. I'm not a finance bro. I don't know their terms. So I think we are done discussing the episode. Thank you so much for giving the show a listen. We will talk about next week's episode next week. Give us some likes and share our episodes with your friends. And we also have another podcast, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, we discuss the Powerpuff Girls and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on there. It was our first podcast and put the episodes of this show, a couple of them in the feed for that. So maybe you already know about that and you came over here because of that. I don't know. Of course, we'd love some reviews, some feedback. Love to hear what you think of this season so far and the shenanigans the vampires and Guillermo are getting up to. Yeah, what was your favorite part of this episode? Yeah. So, guess until next time, remember, you're dead and out of this world. Goodbye. Goodbye.